Florida again.
Yeah, right? Hi.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Oh, we were.
Welcome, Miss Judy. How are you, darling? Good to see you. I'm Donna.
I remember you. Wonderful.
At a rocker house.
All right.
I'm so anxious. I'm getting there before the lighting of the candle. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. Happy Sunday. I am what I am. I am my own special creation. So come give me a look. Give me the hook. Oh, the ovation. It's my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I want to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till I can say I am what I am. All right, everybody, woo! I am what I am. I don't want praise, I don't want pity. I bang my own drum. Some think it's noise, I think it's pretty. And so what if I love each sparkle and each rainbow? Why not just every angle? Your life is a sham till you can shout out, I am what I sometimes the aces, sometimes the deuces. It's one life and there's no return and no deposit. One life, so it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn till you can shout out, I am what I am. I am what I am.
Mary Tugas. Oh. Get your hubby. Come on. Come on. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Yeah. Let's tell the room you're doing great. You know, if you can't tell the room, how can you tell anybody else? Right? You got to do this. Yeah, it's good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't already know this wonderful couple, this is Mary and Fran Tugas. Right? Yeah. So, well, we might let you sing. They're responsible for the I am buttons today, which is awesome. Thank you very much. And they serve in multiple ways, in ways that are behind the scenes sometimes. Miss Mary is a platform assist, is an usher, is a greeter. She goes where she belongs each Sunday, however that unfolds, which I appreciate. And Mr. Fran, he takes care of how wonderful our building looks, inside, outside, and the groundskeeping. So he has a major role. Thank you very much. Appreciate you folks. Thank you. Today's daily word is all about protection. And when I read this word without looking at the daily word, I went, protection? If I have faith in God, why do I need to ask for protection? Something to think about. Because on Sundays, my job is to espouse a message of God to you. right? It's a short version of my job description. And I pride myself on making sure that that message is heard intellectually and spiritually by the newest person in the room. Right? Makes sense? So today's daily word about protection is what I would call metaphysics 2, not 1. Because in our scripture today, there is a verse where God prays for Lazarus to be raised from the dead. And it is said that he only did that prayer because people expected him to, not because he needed to. You see the difference? So when we need prayer, we teach. When we need healing, there's a genuine concern about something, we say, have you prayed about that, right? And that is the first level of our understanding of our relationship with God. Prayer is important. Prayer is one of our 5 tenets, pray and meditate. But when you trust and you have the kind of relationship with God, it's an unspoken prayer that doesn't need to be verbalized, because God already knows the deepest desires of your heart. Make sense? So the daily word is written for Metaphysics 1. Okay? So today's daily word is protection. And the affirmation is, as I practice the presence of God, I feel secure. As I practice the presence of God, I feel secure. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life. God, omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, is not only all around me, but God is within me. As I take this truth into my heart, I feel calm and secure. The circumstances of the world have no lasting power over me. God is greater and more enduring than anything I am called to face. I have within me the power to feel God's protecting presence at any time. As I pray, I affirm the strength and power of God are mine to call upon. I can use these divine powers to move beyond that which may scare or intimidate me. In renewed faith and deep security, I move bravely forward. And from 1 John chapter 4, verse 4, the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. Protection. As I practice the presence of God, I feel secure. And so it is. Amen. If you'd like a copy of the Daily Word, it's bi-monthly. You can get it in the bookstore. And if they don't have any, they'll give you the subscription with which you can get. And it's like $23 for the whole year or $16 or something. It's nominal cost. And they're doing 2 for 1 right now. So you can get one for your significant other and just wrap it up into really pretty paper and they'll never know what happened. And you just give it to them. So all good. With that, why don't we stand for our congregational song, which is Weave.
We're going to do a little a cappella on this one. I'm going to get us started, so I start in the right key. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together. Weave us together, together in love. We are many textures, we are many colors, each one different from the other. But we are entwined with one another in one great tapestry. Weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave weave us together, weave us together, together in love. We are different instruments playing our own melodies, each one tuning to a different key. But we are all playing in harmony, in one great symphony. Weave, weave, weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together, weave us together, together in love. A moment ago, still we did not know our unity, only diversity. Now the Christ in me meets the Christ in thee, in one great family. Weave, weave, weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together, weave us together, together in love.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here to offer you an opportunity to weave us together. I'm Stella, and I'm here to talk about youth groups. Michelle Simonson and I have taken up the challenge of working with youth groups. When I first came here to Unity, I didn't know anybody except my dear friend Susan. When someone comes here for the very first time, they're looking to be fed spiritually, and they're also looking to form relationships. Today, I'm very happy to say that I know a lot of you, and I consider most of you my friends. Many of those friends I met in spirit groups. Unity Spirit Groups chose the dandelion, sending its seeds into the wind, to represent the idea of spirit groups. I can't think of a better choice. That's what happens. We are sowing seeds. Our fingerprints are unique, and our soul prints are unique. We need to share them with others and make connections of friendship and caring. Just 90 minutes a week in spirit groups will give you comfort, support, new friends, and a boost in your own personal and group spirituality. The spirit groups are offered in different areas and are hosted by a person in their home for 8 weeks. There are usually 6 to 12 people in a group, and you'll meet weekly for just 90 minutes. Each member of the group takes turns in providing a prayer, a meditation, and music. A prayer could be something as simple as your favorite poem or your favorite scripture passage. Each section is timed, so the meeting runs in an orderly fashion. The meeting never extends beyond 90 minutes, I promise. Different this time, we have Zoom for those of you that have to travel during the summertime. We want to be able to accommodate you as well. So for the very first time, we have a Zoom meeting that's being offered. During the upcoming sessions, the first 6 weeks you'll spend developing ideas and sharing information that you have learned from this book, Rich Life, Holy Life. Reverend Mo will do YouTube videos that will coincide with the chapters in the book. The last 2 weeks are spent on a service project and a social fund project, which is decided upon by the group itself. It all wraps up here in the last week when all spirit groups come together. This time we'll be using Rich Life, Holy Life by Richard Schumacher, and Barbara will be happy to sell you this book in the library for $20 when you sign up for a group. There are 10,080 minutes in a week. Pamper your spiritual life and give yourself just 90 minutes. Come on and join a spirit group. You'll have a chance to spread your soul prints and make some new friends. So there's sign-up sheets in the narthex, so we'll see you after.
Okay. Day, the power of the month, the power for May is power. Boy, say that 10 times. Woo. And affirmation is, my Christ consciousness is the almighty power forever flowing through me and all humanity. Please, everybody together. My Christ consciousness is the mighty power forever flowing through me and all of humanity. Donna's fundraiser concert will be June 11th, 11:30 to 1:30, which I can't wait because I missed the last one. And tickets can be purchased in advance in the Narthex. It will be an hour of Donna singing, yay, and then an hour of karaoke this time. All of you singers out there are going to get a chance to sing. It's not going to be me. Oh, please come and join in the fun. The new rescheduled date for the spiritual yoga is for Sunday, July 23rd at 11:30 a.m. Please mark your calendar for this new date. And you do not know how to do yoga, and you can do it in a chair. So it's very easy in the chair. I've done it. Okay, now next is the prayer box, which is in the back of the room. Sorry. I keep forgetting this thing doesn't move. You will find prayer slips and pens for your request. After the service today, the prayer slips will be picked up by the chaplain of the day, who's Carla Knack. The chaplains will pray over the prayer slips, then they are sent to Silent Unity for additional 30 days of prayer. Unity believes in the power of affirmation prayer. When completing the prayer slip, we invite you to affirm what you want more of in your life rather than focusing on the issue. For example, if you're not feeling well, you may want to feel better, so you might affirm perfect healing and health for your body. When we feel overwhelmed with too much to do, we might affirm clarity or seeing things in a new light. What we give our attention to is what grows. So we might as well affirm what we do want with less emphasis on the problem or situation. There is an opportunity to have a prayer chaplain pray with anyone who would like to after the service. The available chaplains will be up front here in front of the platform wearing purple stoles.
It's time now for our meditation. So for those of you that meditate regularly, just assume the position. And for those of us new with that, we just ask you to put both feet on the ground. That's the main thing, to feel connected with the earth's energy. And to just gently close your outer eyes so that we can symbolically close out the rest of the world. Let the world be for this brief moment of now. And if you're further comfortable, put your hands on your open position on your thighs, to be in an open and receptive position, to just be present in this moment. Allow the chair to support you in your back and just breathe. Just take a nice deep breath and then exhale. Yeah. Take another breath to breathe in the wonderfulness of God, love, clarity, wisdom, peace. And we exhale anxiety, concerns, worrisome thoughts, and we just put those aside. I visualize a 12-burner stove, and when a thought comes in, we just put it in a pot and put it in the back of the stove to let it cook later. We're just gonna be here right now and being open and receptive to this quiet moment, this moment to just connect with God. You can call God Spirit, intuition. You can call God the Still One, Jehovah, Buddha, whatever name you term God. We know that going within to connect with that that entity is the quest. The more often we connect with that inner voice, the more often we're prepared to move forward in this human experience where we know that life on the outer side, outside of us, can sometimes appear tumultuous. But when we are prayed up, we can deal with all that is given to us. For no matter what outer appearances may look like, situations are always lending itself to us to become closer to God, to rely on God, to know that we are protected by God. For as we practice the presence of God, we can feel more secure in our humanness. So I invite you now to just go within. And if you're comfortable, put your hand on your heart and feel that connection with every beat. For Unity believes that there is no place that God is not. In the chair you're in your hands, as you feel the pulse of God within your body. It is that pulse that is alive with life, is alive with love. And we know that we are secure as we wrap ourselves in the arms of God. This might be symbolic, but it lends itself to an emotional high, knowing that the arms of God surround us with God's love, God's clarity, God's wisdom. For we immerse ourselves in this clarity and knowing that when I am connected knowingly with that God, all is well in my world. So I invite you now to just go within and speak to that entity within you. Speak to God. And I'd like you to invite yourself into a moment of gratitude. Share with God all the things that you're grateful for in your life. And allow your body to feel that gratitude. To feel the joy of knowing that all your needs are being met perfectly and in divine order. For God speaks to our heart and knows the desires of our heart before we even know it. So go within and be grateful and share your gratitude with God. And in our own gentle way, let's give thanks and praise for this moment to just get still. And so it is. Amen. Today's lesson is about Jesus raising Lazarus. Now, it's a story you guys are, probably most of you are familiar with. So I'm going to go the I am part of that resurrection. We're bringing Lazarus up. So I want to share with you from the book of John, and we're in the week 5 of 7 lessons on the I am, statements that Jesus made according to the book of John. And this one is, I am the resurrection and the life. And it's chapter 11, verse 17, and a few more. So when Jesus, let me give you a preview. So he's out and about doing his gig, and he gets wind that Lazarus is sick. And he's saddened because he and Lazarus are buds, and he's saddened, but deep within he knows that this is the final straw for Lazarus. He knows that Lazarus is going to die. So he dallies where he is, and he stays for another 3 days. And finally he announces that, I think I'll go check out Lazarus. And the disciples are a little bit concerned for him because this is in the latter part of his ministry, and he wants to take this 2-mile walk in broad daylight. Now, what's the big deal with that? Well, the big deal is that everybody knows that the Jews are out to get him. Word's already out. Rumor pool is going out there that they're looking to trip up Jesus in anything they can do. So the disciples are asking him to take this hike during the evening hours. And he went, no, I'm going in the broad day of light because I'm protected. I don't have to hide. I can be who I am. And he takes this journey. As he's approaching, Martha sees him and runs out to greet him and says basically, yo, dude, if you'd gotten here when you got the notice, Lazarus would be alive. The blame game. You know the triangle? Blame, rescue, and the perpetrator. So Martha's all over the blame. She believed full-heartedly that Jesus could have prevented Lazarus' death. So he's dead. She goes into blame. He's like, yo, don't you believe that I can take care of this? Oh, yeah, I believe. Not so much, though. And the story starts. So when Jesus came, he found that he had already been in the tomb 4 days. Now Bethany was near Jerusalem, about 2 miles away, and many of the Jews had joined the woman around Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him, but Mary was sitting in the house. Mary was brooding. She's in grief. I'm not going anywhere. My brother's dead. Then Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now, I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you. She knows that he can do this. Whatever you need, I'll get it for you. Her faith is strong. And Jesus says to her, your brother will rise again. Martha says to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection of the last day, because that was the Jewish belief, that if you led a good life, you would be resurrected again. You would come back out of the dead, as if the tomb would open up and out you pop, right? He says, no, that's not what I was talking about. And Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. Now, what does that mean? I am the resurrection and the life. Now, here's the part that gets a little interesting. Because he's using this I am statement, it implies that only he could do that. Hence, you have a pin that says I am. And what everybody missed out on, couldn't grapple with, that what he can do, so can you. If you would follow my teachings, you could see this. And he'd already raised several others from the dead prior to this. And yet they didn't believe. They still fell back on their belief of the religion of their upbringing. They couldn't shift. Here they are in the presence of the Christ, and they couldn't shift, even though they had seen it. So he further goes on and says, And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this?" And she says, "Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is to come into the world." Still, the connection between who we are and who Jesus is represented is missed. There's this gap somehow. So, and when she had said these things, she went her way and secretly called Mary, her sister, saying, "The teacher has come out and is calling for you." I think they had cell phones back then. I'm not sure how she secretly got a hold of her, but I'm assuming she went into the back door and found her in the parlor and said, "Yo, you won't believe what's coming up the street." I don't know. As soon as she heard that, she rose quickly and came to him. This symbolically is representing she's rose quickly because she knew, good, he's arrived. Now Jesus, who had not yet come into the town, but was in a place where Martha met him, then the Jews who were with her in the house and comforting her, when they saw that Mary rose up quickly and went out, followed her, saying, "She is going to the tomb to weep there." Then when Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying to him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." The blame again. Therefore, when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her weeping, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled. And he said, "Where have you laid him?" They said to him, "Lord, come and see." Jesus wept. So this chapter 11 has two very important statements in it. "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, shall live." He wept. Jesus wept. It's the human side of us. Now, some people say that he wept because he was sorrowful that his friend had died. But he was weeping because though I am with you, still don't believe. He knew he had to continue to work to get them to believe that what he was doing, they could do also. That gap, that separation was still prevalent. Then the Jews said, "See how he loved him?" And some of them said, "Could not this man who opened the eyes of the blind also have kept this man from dying?" They still didn't believe he could bring him back. Then Jesus again, groaning to himself, he's groaning. They use the word groaning, versus being sad. Very different. And that's where this leap is, that he wept not because of the loss of Lazarus, but by the knowing they didn't get it. And he groans. Jesus said, Take away the stone. Martha, the sister of him who had died, said to him, "Lord, by this time there is a stench, for he has been dead for 4 years." What did I say? That he's been dead 4 days. Did I not say that? Oh, hey, thanks for catching that. See, now you all know it's 4 days. This is good. It felt like 4 years. That's all I got to say. I've lost all control now. It's done. The lesson is gone. Let's just go celebrate, All right. Jesus says to her, "Did I not say to you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God?" "Yeah, I heard you." And then they took away the stone from the place where the dead man was lying, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me." He does an oral prayer. He knows this prayer is not needed. He already knows that God answers all of our prayers before we even know we need the prayer. But he's got a crowd around him, so he's got to invoke the presence of God. God, I know you hear me always. And I know that you always hear me, but because of the people who are standing by, I said this, that they may believe that you sent me. Now when he had said these things, he cried out with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth." And he who had died came out, bound hands and foot with grave clothes, and his face was wrapped with a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Loose him and let him go." Lazarus is raised from the dead. Now you would think I don't know about you, but if I were one of those people standing by there and seeing it, I might think that he probably wasn't really dead. You know, it was a scam. You know, and yet, I might have also witnessed that Lazarus actually dies. And yet here's Lazarus coming out of the tomb, walking. Would I become a believer? And then a believer of what? Do I believe in Jesus has raised him? Or do I believe that, wow, maybe I can do that? So then we go to our co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. Myrtle, who was the voice of reason and clarity. She didn't mix her words. She was diagnosed with tuberculosis, and there wasn't going to be any help for her. By the time she was 35, she was going to be crippled and die soon. Everybody knew this. That was what was when you got tuberculosis. So she traveled all over the country with Charles, trying to find that one and perfect healer that would cure her of this. Fresh air, went to Colorado, breathe that in, get out of the East Coast, it's only humidity, it made me sick. Didn't work. She continued to suffer. She'd get bouts of feeling good, and then it would kick back in again. So finally she decided to take matters into her own hands. She went to a seminar. She went to a conference. And there this wonderful person told her, and thousands of others, in tents, outside, on a summer day in Chicago. And she hears, you do not inherit sickness or disease. Now, how many of us have been to the doctor and they will ask you, tell me your family history. Oh, your mom died of a heart attack, emphysema. And then the doctor starts to look for those things in you. But what if you didn't believe? Now, science has shown very clearly that we have a DNA pattern. We inherit certain things from our mom and dads. Blue eyes, black hair, short stature, tall stature, whatever it is, right? We've all believed that. And that is true. But the very cells of our being can be repositioned to think differently. And that's what Myrtle did. Myrtle said, if I don't inherit disease, because her mom and dad both died of tuberculosis. So she was raised, you're going to die of tuberculosis. So she had to change her mind. And so she started at the bottom of her feet, and hours every day, she told her body, every single part of it, that I am not sick, I do not inherit sickness, I am healthy, whole, and perfect. And in a matter of months, tuberculosis left her body. Is that a miracle? Call it what you want. To me, a miracle is when you don't do anything but the task at hand. You lifted up a car off of somebody's body. The strength within you was right. But here, we're talking about an intention that she made to rid her body of what she had been told was there. Now, science says, so far, what we know about our bodies is that the liver can regenerate itself. We all know this. They've proven it over and over again. You can have a little snippet of your liver removed. Has there anybody had a little snippet of their liver removed? It's pretty common practice. They just put a needle in you, cut a little piece off, and send you home. Because the liver regenerates. The cells will bring itself back together again. And knowing that truth, science is trying to figure out, are there other parts of the body that can do that? So far, the 5 senses. We can get our hearing back. We can get our taste back. We can get our eyesight back. We can get our touch and sense back. It's interesting. But we've believed for so many reiterations of our bodies that we are meant to die. Most of us have a will set in place, how to take care of our families, where our money should go. Some of us even had a plot of land set aside with our names on it, because that's the thinking. And I get it. But Jesus is saying, wait a second. There is no degeneration of the body. This is something man has made to understand what happens. They put a rational decision on it. I want to introduce a couple of terms to you. Revealing Word, get it in the bookstore. I noticed somebody already purchased one today, which is awesome. I want to read to you what it says in here about the term I am, because we've been dealing with this for the 5 Sundays now. I am is spiritual identity, the real or Christ mind of each individual. The I am is the metaphysical name of the spiritual self as designated from the human self. One of the governed by spirit, the other by personal will. What's personal will? It's what we give our attention to. It's our personal understanding of whatever. And so if we can have our personal will have a clarity that there is no degeneration of the body, I can't help but wonder what would happen. What would happen to our bodies if we believed, if we firmly believed that not only do not inherit disease, but that my body is perfect and whole all of the time. It's hard to do because we're bombarded. We live in a community where we're expected to die sometime. Sad but true. So we've all surrendered to it. We're going to die. Might as well make the best of it, right? Right? So this particular Bible verse was my first clarity that I have choice about how I want to live my life. And so I've made a contract with God to live a vibrant, happy, successful life till 125. So I'm sitting there this morning going, okay, I got this contract. I've had it for many years. And I went, that means I believe in death at 125. Instead of 75, 85, whatever they tell you, the average age of before you die, they do that statistic. And I went, the average year that people keep a car is 12 years. It's gone up by 4 months since 5 years ago. A car. Why? Because we can replace the battery. We can replace the tires, change the oil. Might need a new engine block. We replace the parts. Regeneration of the body. We do it in inanimate objects. Why can't we do it for our bodies? Regenerate. The point being is that I believe that we have the potential to regrow everything in our bodies. But our mind and our spirit have to agree with it. Our I am about it has to be so clear that there's no gray. It's not a what if. It is, and this is what I will do about it. We go see a doctor. We should go see a doctor. Things break once in a while. It needs to be repaired. I get it. We have to do these things. But what science has already told us, many years ago, we knew that the very cells in our body regenerate themselves, right? We all know this. Thank God they regenerate themselves. Can you imagine if a cell died, it doesn't come back? So we have all of these cells in our bodies. And the thing is, the cell comes back the same way it left, with whatever memory, whatever decision, whatever's there. Heard the word chemicalization? Right? Some of you are familiar with that term. Chemicalization is the body letting go of what is no longer useful to us. We might get a runny nose. We might get a headache. The body is releasing the cells that have a memory that no longer is valid for us. It dissipates, has to find its way out of the body, hence the elimination process. So some people will leave Unity after a couple of weeks or a couple of sessions because every time I go to Unity, I get sick. Why would I want to keep going there? It's our minds connecting to the very cells of our being and releasing them because the truth of who we are has changed. When you get a truth statement within you, the old statement has got to be eliminated. It leaves the body in some way. You know, we might have trouble sleeping or whatever's going on. And our job is to remember not to overcompensate when we're not feeling well. Overeating, overdrinking, not getting enough sleep, not getting enough exercise. The body wants to eliminate what is no longer there. We know this. Our body is built that way. You know, in some circles, the appendix is not needed anymore. We've been taking people's appendix out. You know, it ruptures and got to have emergency surgery, take the appendix out. Tonsils. Children are being born without tonsils. That's okay. Why is that happening? Because we've changed our belief about the use of the body. Tonsils just swell up and we have to be removed. Is there anybody here still has their tonsils? Quite a few. Yeah. But most of us, 3, 4, 5 years old, they snip it out, it swells up. So the body changes as our thinking changes. And as our thinking changes, I hope it's for the better of what we're saying about our bodies. And not believing everything you read about our bodies, because it's not always true. And the I am within us wants to know the truth of who we are. It wants that. And that's another term for Christ. I am Christ. So when Jesus says these I am statements, he's saying the Christ within me sees no degeneration of the body. So with a simple thought, he raises Lazarus up whole and complete. It is said that some of the folks that Jesus healed, bringing eyesight back to the man at the pool, you know, the woman who touched the hem of his garment, that there is talk that these people got sick later and eventually died. And it's because they thought it was a fluke that Jesus was able to restore the blind man. And the blind man becomes blind again because the thinking didn't change. It's kind of the same adage. You win the $10 million lottery, and in 5 years you're broke. You sit there and go, is that possible? Because we didn't change the way we feel and operate about money. As our status in life changes, especially when it comes to the body, we too have to change. We have to believe that this is not a temporary fix, but a permanent fix to a problem that's been going on for many, many years. The I am. And that's why it's so critical that we pay attention to what we're giving our attention to when we say, I am something. You're invoking the Christ within you for that truth about us or an untruth. You get to decide. And Jesus walked around making very clear statements about his I am. He didn't fool around with when he attached his I am to. The other one is Lazarus. I want to read you what Lazarus is all about. Lazarus, come forth. This refers to the power of the word to arouse mind energy to such an extent that the physical becomes immersed in the healing life. In reading this particular words, do you get the sense that Jesus didn't mean it? Lazarus, come forth. And Lazarus says, whoop, hello, and walks out. Because when we call out with a full clarity that I'm going to get what I want, it happens. The universe unfolds for you. And if you don't believe that enough, it's watered down, right? It becomes gray rather than black and white. I was with a friend one time driving. We were in Maryland, Chesapeake Bay, and boy, the rain came down. I mean, I could not see the road in front of me. And the person I'm with says, rain be gone. It stopped raining for my car only. And we drove. I said, how'd you do that? Do what? She said. And I went, I want to be like you one day. I caught the glimpse of how powerful our words are. That you can make this mountain move from here to there when you're sure of it. When you're sure of it. And we run around in this human experience believing what other people believe about our bodies instead of what we know is our truth. So, we're going to run a little later today because I am not done. So you've all been given this pin. Anybody need a pin that didn't get one? We'll get an usher. Wonderful job, ushers. Excellent. Up. Sue, get a pin for her. Yeah. So this I am pin, I want you to use it. Literally. I want you to use it. I want you to come back in 6 months and say, I need a new pin. I wore it out. I want you to use it. And this is how I want you to use it. I want you to get still. I want you to go into a meditative state right now. Both feet on the ground. I want you to walk with me through a journey of healing. Isn't that what we all espouse to? We want to be healed, whether it's a mental thought or a physical ailment, whatever the healing is for you. And I just want you to gently close your eyes. And I want you to put your hand on your heart. I want you to feel that presence within you. That thump, thump, thump. Get quiet enough within you to feel the beating of your heart. That's your lifeline. That's your lifeline. Breathe into your heart and say with me, my heart is perfectly beating together. My heart is perfectly beating. I am a whole, wonderful person together. I am a whole, wonderful person. I am healthy, whole, and perfect. I am healthy, whole, and perfect. My body is a perfect machine. My body is a perfect machine. I only give it the right food. I only give it the right food. Now open your eyes. Your homework this week is to do something similar to that. Get into a quiet state of mind, put your feet on the ground, quiet yourself to hear your heart, and tell your body how good it is. How wonderfully good it is. And if you have a particular area of your body that needs a little bit of attention, you see the very cells in your body operating to wholeness. Your cells will change. The body responds to what you give that attention to. So give it what it needs. More breath, more rest, more joy, more banana splits. Joy. Because food doesn't kill us. Our thought about food kills us. So breathe life into your body and be the I am resurrection of the life within you. Reborn yourselves. And I see only good things happening in your life because I know that to be the truth. And so it is. Amen. Amen. So now is the time in our service for our love offering. And if you're new with us today, I extend an invitation for you to not contribute to us financially. Just know that you're a guest with us and that we're giving to you today. And we know that to be a perfect guest. And so let us affirm our offertory prayer together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And so it is.
I send my love over
send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me.
So we see these gifts bountifully blessing our community and all the many hands that these gifts go out and extend. And for these gifts, we are grateful. So let us affirm our offertory blessing again, but this time using the pronouns us and we together. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. And we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. Mr. John Booth. Mr. Owens. Come on up to the front area.
I'm here.
It's on.
Well, I'm here this morning to do the community member induction. And so I would like to have Kathy Owens. Hi. And also Linda Beauregard to come forward.
Linda's viewing us by streaming today.
Oh, okay. Well, Linda, consider yourself inducted today by video. No, the community members say yes to participating in classes, services, and study groups such as spirit groups. And they also say yes to participating in a spiritual gifts assessment program, and also commit to a monthly contribution. And so we thank you and we appreciate you, and welcome to Unity.
John?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Joan Pete. I'm the board president. I'm going to give you a board update. We had our meeting last Wednesday, so this is from that meeting. Basically, our finances are doing well in the last month, so we're pleased. And if you want more details, we've posted the report. It's on the bulletin board outside the men's bathroom. During the meeting, the board, we are continuing to practice using our cue cards and looking at how we have been accountable. And if you've done the cue process, you know what a cue card is. So our maintenance issues are minimal. The fire department was here to do a routine maintenance check on the fire extinguishers, and we passed. It was good. We'd like to thank, it's kind of been done, but we recognize Fran and thank him for what he does for the church, and also for Peter Knack and what Peter did for covering up the wires and making the church look beautiful. Okay. For community outreach, we want to thank Kathy Ketterman. I don't know if any of you saw the lovely article that was in the Daily Sun about Kathy, and that she collected, with our help and with other people's help. Is Kathy here? Oh, Kathy, yes. Kathy collected 650 boxes of cereal, which was just amazing. And so thank you, Kathy. Okay. If anybody else has any ideas of raising funds or doing some community service, see Tracy for a form, and if you have any questions about that or need direction, anybody on the board can help you with that. Speaking of outreach, also Donna Keaton and Kathy Owen, who collect the donations on the third Sunday. Donna's looking for another person to help them. So if anybody see Donna, I don't think Donna, there's Donna. You want to stand, Donna? Just, folks, I'm sorry. Kind of hard to get up. There you go. Thank you. Okay. Finally, it's been said before, but we also encourage you to sign up for the spirit groups. They're just going to be just a lot of fun. And we invite you to come to a board meeting. We've switched it back to Wednesday, so we're the third Wednesday in the morning. Sometimes we do it on Zoom, so I would just maybe get in touch with me or another board member just to make sure that we're actually going to be in the church, or you could join us on Zoom. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Joan. So I want to welcome our guests with us today. If you're with us for the first time or this is your second time, if you just stand and let us acknowledge you, I'd appreciate it. All right, yeah, got a couple folks out there. Yeah, awesome, awesome. We have a blessing for you together. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. And for that, we are grateful. And please join us in our community room, where we spend a little bit of time making nice little treats and getting things and a good cup of coffee. And don't be surprised if we want to know more about who you are. So thank you for being with us. And with that, why don't we stand for our peace song and our prayer for protection.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment I am the light of God that surrounds us. I am the light